Come with us on a journey into the unknown, the unexplained, and the unbelievable. We will test your senses and challenge your beliefs. A world where science and religion clash. Or do they? You will meet real people and hear real stories, but you will not believe. You will witness strange sights and hear strange sounds, but you will not believe. This is the New England Ghost Project. Welcome to the nightmare.
You know, I was going to have some spiffy saying to start, but decided not to. Welcome to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition, right here on the net, New England Talks. I am Ron Kolek, your fabulous host. With me, my co-host, the professor himself, Lou Blasi.
Yeah, we were working on spiffy sayings before
the
show.
Yeah. So we were both saying that, people look like you have two heads when you use some of these. And the word I used was spiffy, right?
Spiffy, yeah.
Spiffy.
Yeah.
Spiffy.
I use spiffy.
Yeah. I used to use tonic.
Tonic. I always hesitate when it comes to describing that because I don't know how to describe it. That's what we do in New England, right? Tonic. It's not soda.
Yeah, not pop. It wasn't pop.
Not pop. It's never been pop, yeah.
It was tonic back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah. Tonic.
And my big thing in somewhere, my kids are rolling their eyes because they're hearing me say this, is I used to lecture people.
Kids? I only thought you had one.
I had two.
Oh.
I have two.
I had two.
I had two.
One divorced you.
I always had a thing with Jimmy's and sprinkles.
Yeah? What's wrong with the Jimmy's?
Jimmy's is what it should be.
Right, exactly.
But you go to an ice cream place, and the young kid will ask you, do you want chocolate or multicolored sprinkles? I guess chocolate and not sprinkles at Jimmy's.
Don't you speak English?
And my kids
What's with you, kid?
My kids would look all embarrassed because I'd be lecturing everybody on it. It's New England. We call them Jimmy's.
Well, especially in our day.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I'm a little older than you, but,
yep.
A lot older than you. But
not a lot.
Well, old enough to know better. But, yeah, I mean, we used to use all kinds of languages. I'm trying to think of some of the other one.
We were asking about if the creek don't rise.
Yes.
And it's just about if God willing and the creek don't rise. Origin debaters point to Colonel Benjamin Hawkins of North Carolina, a Continental Congress senator, and a general superintendent of Indian Affairs from 1796 to 1818. When he was summons to the nation's capital, he reportedly once responded, "If God is willing and the creek don't rise."
Yeah, I know it was an old-time thing, really an old-time. I thought it was...
There's also a novel named If the Creek Don't Rise.
Yeah. Big deal. That's just ripped from that. Anyway.
But there's a local radio guy who used to use it, right? That's I think.
I'm sure.
That's
I mean,
everybody's
got their taglines.
Yeah.
Remember? What was the other one? Oh, good evening, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Yeah.
Remember that? Jimmy Durante?
No, that was a good night. That was
Good night. Good night. Yeah, good night.
The Jimmy Durante show.
Yeah, Jimmy Durante. Remember that?
Red Skelton had one too, didn't he?
They all did. They all had their own little tags. I mean, most of the news guys had their tags, right?
Yeah, I'm a little past. I'm a little young for Jimmy Durante.
That's an old one.
And I remember Red Skelton, but I don't remember ever watching
Red
the
Skelton
show.
was great. That was a live show.
Yeah.
And it was funny. And one of the funniest lines, and I remember this to this day. Now, that was, God, years and hundreds of years ago. But I remember one show. It was all live, so whatever it was. And they used to crack up themselves during the shows. But I remember he was doing some skit, and he reached into his pocket, and he said, nuts. No, it just said nuts. That's it, not nuts. And then they started laughing. They couldn't stop laughing.
It's like Carol Burnett. That was one of the fun parts of Carol Burnett. They used to crack each other up.
Yeah.
And they'd go and try for it at times. Tim Conway. You could see Tim Conway trying to break everybody up.
I mean, there are some guys that can do that, comedians. Like, I mean, what's his name? The guy from Saturday Night Live. Not Chevy Chase, the other one. Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Totally that way. He's what's that word? Is a word for not compromise. Improvise. Yeah, totally improvise. All his best lines were, I mean, that's the cool thing. Sometimes when you're yourself, you actually shine the best.
In most comedies, I would imagine we'd be surprised how much of it is improv.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
You see them on the rolls and the outtakes. You see the outtakes and where the guy's just riffing stuff. in the scene, and they pick the best one and throw it in there.
Yeah, I suppose.
The Jim Carreys of the world, and I'm guessing
don't
Jim Carrey is almost all improv.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Speaking about old times, since we're on that, I was going to save this till later, but I will do it now. Last week, I mentioned that I had something about old time radio.
Yes,
And you remember old time radio?
I
You
do.
do not. You weren't even alive during old time radio. Old time radio. So anyway,
So what do you got? You said you were going to bring something in.
I did. And this stuff is so cool. So this is from the Charlie McCarthy radio show. And you sent away for this lovely,
Oh God.
lovely thing.
Yeah.
And so
Did you acquire this, or did you send
someone
away?
sent me this.
Okay. Yeah.
See, this is in the.
Yeah.
Someone sent me this
Yep.
in the mail. So, for instance, it's a game.
Oh,
Yeah, it has a little. See, it's called the Charlie McCarthy Radio Party.
I like it.
Radio Party. We should have one
Yeah.
because every show's a party here on the Ghost Chronicles.
That's what you should do. You should do a paranormal game show.
Oh, there you go.
No one's done that.
I've dabbled with it.
You've doubled with it.
Yes, I have. So, anyways, how to get game. So, how would you get this game, right?
Yes.
Send 2 Chase and Sanborn dated package fronts, also sales slips, and 10 cents to Chase and Sanborn, Lexington Avenue, New York City. Offer expires November 30th, 1938.
All right. I think we're past the date.
1938.
Chasing Sanborn's coffee, right?
Chase and Sanborn coffee, yeah, you can. But, yeah, it's got those neat little Charlie Mahan, and it's got all these,
So these poor kids were drinking a couple packs of coffee and sending them in.
probably, and you had these little cutouts, This is Dorothy Lamour.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Okay, who else do we have? Someone, nobody knows these names otherwise than somebody old. Eddie Nelson.
Heard of him.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right?
Dorothy Lamour, heard of him too. Heard of her too.
Robert Armburster.
Nope, don't know him.
I'm an armburster. Gut burster. Who else we got in here? They have plenty of duplicates. I don't know how to play this game. Oh, of course, Charlie McCarthy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Charlie McCarthy was a dummy.
Yes.
I mean, literally.
Literally to me. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. There's more. Eddie Bergen.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Candace Bergen's father?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, look at the old time microphone.
Ah. Love that.
Yeah. This is Don Amici.
Don Amici.
Amici, thank
Yep.
you. I know I was mispronouncing it. So, yeah. So, anyways, this is it. I don't know how to play this silly game, but I have it. It was sent to me
Well,
by...
what are some of the options on the spinning wheel?
Take Charlie wherever he is and spin again.
Okay.
Let's see. Take one player from the right and spin again.
Okay.
So it's got to be something I don't know. How the hell do I know? Take one from the center or exchange.
Okay.
So it's got a little spinner. Oh, wait a minute. That's got some reading here. On red, on red, make play indicated, then spin again. On yellow, make play indicated, then the next player spin. The winner is the player who first gets one each of the pieces, including Charlie, or gets all of the pieces, 20, without Charlie.
Oh. No, there were 20 pieces. Wow.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole pile of them here.
Oh, there's a whole pile.
Yeah, it's got, like, see, tons of them, which you didn't see because I was off camera, I just realized. But anyways, and it does have the instructions, but I'm not going to get into it too much. But that was kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, very cool.
Yep,
1937 or 38. Yeah.
38.
Yeah.
I believe.
Well, the deadline was 38.
Deadline was, yep,
So.
November 30th, 1938.
Okay, so 1938.
So there you go. Anyway, do you Do you believe in raising the dead since Easter's coming up?
Do I believe in raising the dead? I'm going to have to fall in a no.
No, huh?
I don't believe the dead can be risen.
Or
It
raised?
depends, though. Oh, okay. How technical do you want to be?
How technical do I want to be? I don't know. You tell me.
And what's your definition of terms dead?
Oh, my God. Don't be such a pill.
No, I want to give an accurate answer. In other words, listen, if
You tell me. I'm
if
not
you're
going to tell
dead
you.
when- if you're
you
dead
have
when
your
you-
own concept. Am I going to push my thoughts and
no, we're gonna
promises
have
on you?
we're
No.
going to have a discussion on it.
Right. So you tell me what you believe those are. Why should I impose my will on you?
If death is when your heart stops, yes, you can be raised from the dead.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't believe you're dead when your heart stops, though.
What if you flatline?
Well, that's your heart stopping, right? Flatline
Oh,
is,
that's true.
is heartbeat.
What about
Brain activity.
brain activity? Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
other one.
Once your brain activity's gone, I think you're done.
Pretty much toast.
Although, right, don't they have a vegetative state is essentially no brain activity, but the body's still living, right?
That's when I pull the plug.
Yes, but the body can sustain for a long period of time.
As long as it's plugged in.
Yeah, because brain activity would be automatic.
Runs everything.
Yeah, right. Okay, all right. Yeah, so brain activity. And no, I don't believe you come back from that.
Okay. So anyways,
But even that's a weird little concept.
what?
The ceasing of brain activity.
Yeah.
I mean, short of physical trauma to the brain.
I don't know if anybody has done that, have they? Come back from
No,
ceased brain activity?
no, but short of physical trauma to the brain, why would brain activity stop? Well, lack of oxygen, I'm guessing, would be one reason.
Lack of blood.
Lack of blood.
Because you need blood, you need oxygen.
Yeah. That's physical.
Yeah. Physical crap.
Yeah.
So, why don't you look in that Funkin' Waggle, see if anyone's come back from, what? Brain activity?
From brain dead. Let's call it from back.
Has anybody come back from brain dead? Yeah, we'll check that out. Anyways, this guy has raised 14 people from the dead.
Has he?
Yeah. This is a gentleman who's from England. He's a legend in the early 20th century. He died in, let me see, I think he died on my birthday, to tell you the truth. Let me see. I believe he did. I believe he died on my birthday.
Mm-hmm. Your actual birthday?
My actual, well, not my
Yeah.
actual birthday, my birth date.
Yes.
Birth date. See, we have to be very specific. Any luck with that?
Yes. I think it's interesting because at the top where they do the little summary from Bioethics Yale Education, no one can recover from brain death. If the clinician has any doubt as to whether there might be even minimal recovery, brain dead is not declared. A determination of brain death means that the patient has died. Brain death is irreversible. And then I scroll down underneath, and the first thing from medscape.com is another brain dead patient wakes up just in time.
Ouch.
From 2018. And then, do you want to get into that, or do you want to get into medical news today, which with the article Reversing Brain Death, Far-Fetched or Feasible?
That would be like really technical.
Okay.
If I know somebody who came back, who's this guy in 2018?
All right. This
Yes, he died in March 12th, 1947.
this guy who raised from the dead, he died himself.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So he knows the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
He brought his wife back.
Medscape.com has an article, another brain dead patient wakes up just in time from October of 2018. 21-year-old Zach Dunlap from Oklahoma. By the way, they have brain dead in quotes.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
where the sun
21-year-old
comes.
Zach Dunlap from Oklahoma appeared on NBC's Today Show in 2008 to tell an incredible story of hearing a physician telling his parents that a PET scan confirmed that he was brain dead after a catastrophic brain injury. While he was being prepared for organ donation, however, he moved his arm purposely in response to stimuli.
Oh, God, that would be spooky.
Oh, yeah. Dunlap recovered. Went to a rehabilitation hospital, and ultimately went home 48 days later very much alive.
So much for irreversible brain damage.
Yeah. Earlier this year, 2018, 13-year-old Trenton McKinley from Alabama and his parents hit the media circuit to talk about the miracle of Trenton awakening after being declared brain dead from a vehicle accident one day before his organs were scheduled to be harvested. And that's the last of the free part
You know,
of our
I was
article.
donating my organs, but maybe I'm going to take them back. That's going to be the worst thing.
Well, it's the old Beetlejuice. Yeah, well, yeah, see, because they're going to keep you, quote unquote, alive until they harvest the organs.
Right.
So that creates all kinds of potential for issues.
I don't know. Maybe, well,
And
that's a good thing.
What if you're conscious but you have no ability to respond?
There have been many cases like that.
But what would be worse?
Don't you remember, like, Twilight Zone had some of those? The guys would blink his eyes finally. And then the guy thought he was doing things, actually moving things, but he wasn't, like moving a finger or something. And that was spooky because you were in the mind, the head of the guy,
Yeah.
as they were.
Think how terrifying that would be, though.
Yeah.
I'd rather be dead. I'm guessing I'd rather be dead.
Okay.
No?
Sure. That would be
That would be mortifying.
horrible.
Yeah.
That would be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But maybe you were already dead. And that was your consciousness.
Yep. There been any estimates on how long the consciousness will go in a standard
We don't
death?
even know what consciousness is.
Well, okay, yeah. Brain activity.
Soul, whatever. Yeah, brain. Well, we're talking no brain activity. Oh, how long it lasts? Oh, yeah. Could you come back from?
After your heart stops, for example.
Well, I talked about that series on Netflix where the woman had drowned
Oh, yeah.
in what was it, Peru, Honduras, some crazy South American country, and which I'm going to get email for, but that's all right. Some South American country, and they were like miles and miles away from anything, and they recovered her body and brought it back, and then she came back to life. That's the one that found out when her son was going to die, the date when he was going to die ahead of time, all the life she knew until he died.
There's varying opinions.
Yeah, of course there is.
So, scientific studies have shown that brain death is defined by the cessation of brain activity within 7 minutes of death. Consciousness and death are a common theme in society and culture in the context of afterlife. However, many believe in an afterlife that occurs in many regions. So, science is, I think the general consensus is 7 minutes here.
Yeah, that's. I remember that 7 minutes.
Independent UK says brain activity may continue for more than 10 minutes after the body appears to have died.
I'd like to know how the hell they figured it out, by the way. Oh, brain. Oh, that one I could see because it's brain activity after the body is dead. But how? What's the difference between the body dying? How do they define that? I don't understand that.
Okay, I'll open the article. But think about being a worker and the body has died, and you're looking at the brain. You get the brain hooked up, and not only are you seeing activity, but you're seeing response. I mean, I imagine there are situations where you could see response, right?
I don't know.
Like the brain in a panic state or whatever.
I don't know. I really don't.
Independent UK says brain activity may continue for more than 10 minutes after the body appears to have died, according to a new study. Canadian doctors, forget it then. Canadian doctors in an intensive care unit appeared to have observed a person's brain continuing to work even after they were declared clinically dead. In the case, doctors confirmed their patient was dead through a range of normal observations, including the absence of a pulse, unreactive pupils, but the test showed that the patient's brain appeared to be working, experiencing the same kind of brain waves that is seen during deep sleep.
So why did they declare him dead if his brain was still working? I don't think that's
Absence
death.
of a pulse and
It doesn't matter.
unreactive pupils.
Not if you, yeah, but you still have
I know, yeah.
brain activity.
In a study that noted the findings could lead to new medical and ethical challenges, doctors reported that they had seen single delta wave bursts persisted following the cessation of both the cardiac rhythm and the arterial blood pressure. So they're going by heart. The findings are reported in a new study published by a team from the University of Western Ontario. Only 1 of 4 people studied exhibited long-lasting mysterious brain activity, with activity in most patients dying off before their heart stopped beating. But all the brains behaved differently in the minutes after they died, adding further mystery to what happened to them after death. The doctors don't know what the purpose of the brain activity might be and caution against drawing too many conclusions from such a small sample, but they write it's difficult to think the activity was the result of a mistake, given that all the equipment seems to be working fine. Researchers had previously thought that almost all brain activity ended in one large, mysterious surge about a minute after death. But those studies were based on rats, and research found no comparable effect in humans.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is I don't know. They don't know, actually, quite frankly.
No.
You know, everybody has their own. Like we heard 7 minutes, we heard 10 minutes, depending on what you think. As far as I know, you know, the body dead, but brain activity, to me, that's not dead. If you have brain activity, you're still alive.
Yeah, so we're back to, like I said, definition of death.
I mean, there's the, you know, that guy from University of Arizona or something, anesthesiologist, he doesn't even understand anesthesia.
We don't know, yeah.
Yeah, where does the consciousness go?
Yeah.
You know, where do you go?
We don't know how anesthesia works.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
As much as we use it, we don't know how it works.
It's strange.
But I guess the comforting part of that, what I got from that was, you might have brain activity, but you don't have clear consciousness. I'm guessing a lot of stuff's going on in the body. I'm guessing there's a lot of endorphins being thrown around, and you know, the mind is protecting itself. But that's just a guess too. Who the hell knows?
The interesting thing, of course, is that pretty much we are electrical energy.
Right.
You know, everything that moves in our body is through electricity, whether it's through the skin or through the thing. Everything is driven by electrical. Which is interesting because we always talk about energy and death and this thing. So,
what generates that, though? The question just occurred to me.
There's, we could look that up. How is electrical energy in the body generated? Do you want me to funk that, or you want to funk it?
No. Okay.
But see, that's the problem with this, though. You know, you ask one question.
I know.
And you get it. You know, it leads you to 3 more questions.
And we think we know so much.
We don't.
We talk like we know so much, and we don't know. When they talk about psychotropic drugs and things like that, they talk about brain chemistry.
Right.
We don't measure brain chemistry. We have no idea what the brain chemistry is and whether it changes or not. We don't measure that. We don't know how anesthesia works. We don't know how death works. We don't know.
I mean, we
still don't know what the life force is, the quote unquote soul.
Exactly.
We don't know
that's
what it is.
That's like the $64 million question. We know they have done studies on the brain. And we can see certain activity is related to certain functions in the body that we can determine because, you know, we can, like, for instance, that one portion of the brain will light up when this particular activity is going on versus another one and so forth. So, and we know that when damage to the brain in certain areas, then we lose certain activity, whether it's memory or movement or whatever. So,
but even that's not consistent. You have people with malformed brains or brain injuries who can still function in those areas where we think that's supposedly controlled.
This is true. So, yeah, I don't know.
University of Maryland, electricity is everywhere, even in the human body, as cells are specialized to conduct electrical currents.
Oh, I know that.
Electricity is required for the nervous system to send signals.
I know that. Where does it come from?
How does it control?
We got a little generator in us. Jumps on when the electricity goes out.
Okay, that doesn't, although...
And when you think when the heart starts, the first thing they do is defibrillate, which is zopping them with electricity. So kind of a jump start, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find what more specifically answers.
I wonder if it's the heart, because considering that they jump start the heart with electricity.
This is BusinessInsider.com. On Today I Found Out How the Human Body Generates Electricity. Lee Swanson asks, how does the human body create electricity? Fantastic question, Lee. The shortest and most simple answer is chemical reactions between different atoms and molecules in the body.
That's right. Now it's coming back to me. Right. We know that certain chemicals, when you put them together, produces electrical charges. You know that from the potato battery.
Yeah.
You must have made the potato battery when you were a kid. Yeah.
Yep.
God, I love being a kid.
Potato clocks. too.
Oh yeah, when we were kids, we used to do stuff. And crystal radios. Did you ever do those?
I never did one. I know they existed.
Oh, those are awesome.
Yeah.
Crystal radios. For those who don't know, no electricity, no nothing, just wires and stuff, and you could listen to stations. You could hear Ghost Chronicles because we're going out on. Where are we? 102.9 FM HD2.
You need some FM crystal. I mean, you need some FM HD crystals.
Yeah, I know. See, they complicated everything. But, yeah, anyway. So, back to my guy that raised 14 deads.
Yes.
Remember him?
Yep.
You want to take a guess at what his name is?
Zed Wakefield.
Ooh, got the W.
Oh, did I?
Smith Wigglesworth.
Smith Wigglesworth. Okay.
He was a plumber.
Well,
just like the Ghostbusters on Ghost Hunters.
That's right.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters, they're plumbers.
That's right. There you go.
There you go. So I mean, that's the, I guess that's like the what do you call entry position to be in
Paranormal entry position.
Yeah, plumber.
Smith Wigglesworth.
Wigglesworth.
Okay.
Yes, he raised 14 people dead. He was, this guy's too. I mean, he was pretty big in the early 20th century. I mean, he had his own ministry. You can go on, you can actually listen to him.
Listen, if somebody now raised 14 people from the dead, he'd be pretty big too.
Worships the worshipers at I'm not going to say that.
Worshippers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At the Angelus Temple in Las Vegas, one of the many churches Wigglesworth visited. So he went all around after being a plumber.
When is this now? What time period is this?
This is the 20th century. He died in 1947, so it's in that period there.
Yep.
And this guy was so devoted, by the way, that when he died, they found parts of his kneecap bone missing.
Wow.
The kneecaps of his bone, right?
Yeah.
And at his house, there was in the corner there were 2 indentations in the floor.
Oh.
So
he wore out his bone.
He wore out his bone praying.
Wow.
So you believe what he was doing evidently.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. But yeah, I couldn't believe it's like 14 people. He was born in 1859.
I'm gonna have so much fun when I go home tonight with that.
Are you really? Why?
Yeah, I am. That's one of 2 possible alternatives.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he was married.
Yeah.
Polly Featherstone.
Did anyone check her kneecaps?
Polly Featherstone.
Yep. Polly Featherstone.
You gotta love these. Wigglesworth and Featherstone.
Sounds like an old novel, an old
So she
PI
would,
novel
she would
something.
be Mrs. Smith Featherstone Wigglesworth.
I like it.
Yeah, and he raised her from the dead too.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he didn't want to break a new wife, and so I'll just dig out the old one.
Okay, how did he do it? Let's get to it.
Wigglesworth believed that any sickness was actually the devil inside of you,
Okay,
which meant that prayer was needed.
he was a devoted man.
Yes, he was. He also frequently.
Frequently.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. This is getting it. Wigglesworth believed that any sickness was actually the devil inside of you, which meant that prayer is needed, but also frequently a physical assault. So he used to beat the crap out of you before you healed you.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, he had to beat the devil out of you.
There are many stories at the time of Wigglesworth punching his sufferers in the stomach if they had stomach cancer. At times, he violently shook those on their deathbeds, or more commonly, in times of in front of the crowds when healing was part of the thing, he would deliver a good sharp slap across your face.
Okay, so he was a faith healer, too. He not only rose people from the dead,
He
raised people from the dead.
Oh, no, he was a faith healer. That was his primary. But
Faith healer.
Yeah, that was his primary. But, yeah, he could raise people from the dead, too. This guy is, he's all right. I like him, beat the crap out of people. We need a little more of that nowadays. His notion of praying for the sick was an act of spiritual warfare, which helps account for the rough handling of people in his ministry. He thought of striking a person where they hurt was actually hitting the devil. Although some reported healing as a result of this, others thought it was best to avoid identifying the location of their pain so they wouldn't get crapped on. Boom.
Smart idea.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the movie Leap of Faith?
I don't believe I have.
Steve Martin is a faith healer. Deborah Winger was in it.
I might have, but I used to like Steve Martin, so.
That was a good movie. That was a worthwhile movie.
All right, so...
It wasn't a comedy, by the way.
No, it's not worth it then.
No. So when did he raise his first person from the dead? Let's get to the death raising here.
I'm trying to find this, but there isn't too much on it.
Guessing it was his wife.
So, anyways, we'll give her I thought I'd give her an account of how he did this. And this was an account that was published in the Redemption Tidings in Washington, D.C. in 1934. So it's pretty much the time era of my Charlie McCarthy game. Mm-hmm. Just before the meeting began, we had noticed that a young girl with crutches was coming in. She was assisted by a man and a woman. Her legs absolutely dangled, with her feet hanging vertically from them. From her waist, she seemed to be limp and powerless. The room was made for her. In the front of the row. When an invitation to be saved was given, she attempted to go forward with her assistance. Brother Wigglesworth, on seeing her, said, "You stay right there, where you are. You are going to be a different girl when you leave this place." When the rest had been dealt with, Brother Wigglesworth turned to the girl. Having been told her trouble, she said to the people, "This girl has no muscles in her legs and has never walked before." He laid his hands on her head and prayed and cried, "In the name of Jesus Christ, walk." Looking at her, she said, "I'm afraid, aren't you?" "Yes," she replied. There was no, I hate when it comes down to the end of it. Oh, God. Then, of course, when you click on it, I was right in the middle of that. So excitedly getting. "There is no need for you to be scared. You are healed," he shouted. "Walk, walk, walk, and praise the God." She did, just like a baby learning. Twice she walked in that characteristic way, like a baby walks.
Yes.
The length of the platform. Glory to God. When we left the room, her crutches were lying on a seat. And on reaching the sidewalk, we saw her standing, as others do, talking to two girlfriends. So there you go. That's pretty damn good.
I'm looking at some other accounts here. He was pretty big. He drew crowds.
I'm telling you, this guy was, all right. Go ahead. So what do you got?
Basically, I don't know if it's the same story you had.
Oh, give me one. I don't care.
A former plumber who traveled the world preaching, Wigglesworth was among the key early preachers of the Pentecostalism, whose practitioners were known in some circles as holy rollers.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's the same article.
Same article, yeah.
Did you find that cool part about how he healed himself?
No.
Let's see. Featherstone. According to at least one account, one of his first healings was himself. Tired of taking salts to ease hemorrhoids, he anointed himself with oil and prayed on it. The hemorrhoids disappeared. "Be gone, damn hemorrhoids! Be gone!"
Well, there's some merit in that self-healing, too.
I love that.
Yeah.
We should probably take a break on that. Anyway. Yeah, why don't we? Anyways, you're listening to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition right here on the net, New England Talks. And we are brought to you by Circles of Wisdom, 386 Merrimack Street in Methuen, Massachusetts, and the Gallant Messier Family Law Group, 15 High Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, and our very good friends on Patreon. So the Dead Air Society.
Ghost Chronicles Radio on Patreon.
And we'll be right back.
Do you have a paranormal event, book, or something else you want people to know about? Then why not advertise it on Ghost Chronicles Radio? With over 150,000 downloads a month, get your message out to an audience that's interested in the subject. We have a plan at a cost that fits your needs. For more information, contact Ron Kolek at anyghostproject@comcast.net or call 978-455-6678.
Are you seeing a ghostly apparition every time you look in the mirror? Are you terrified to realize that pale, lifeless, lack of energy form hovering before you is in fact you? How would you like to be transformed? Healing begins from within, and it's never too late to start feeling good. Are you curious? Interested? Good. Don't wait another minute. Visit transformyourlifenow.org or contact Maureen. The email address is maureen@transformyourlife.org. Welcome back to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition with your host, New England's own Van Helsing, Ron Kolek, talking about raising the dead today.
Well, it is Easter.
Is it? When's Easter? It's not.
It started,
Okay, a
yeah.
couple of weeks.
Ash Wednesday
Oh, okay.
started, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Ash Wednesday.
I got a piece from Ministry Today magazine about him.
Yes.
God has used many people in the area of faith throughout human history, but he called one man in particular from the plumber's trade to plumb the depths of the ancient well of faith. We know this to be true because of the supernatural fruit of faith in his ministry. Smith Wigglesworth was a blue-collar worker, a servant of God who would read only the Bible, and who dared to act upon the things that God said, while others gave him only lip service. Many have read the account of how Wigglesworth once walked into the parlor of a funeral home where the dead body of a man had lain for 3 days. He was on a mission from God. He abruptly told the family to get out of the room.
It's the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, that's right. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Yeah. A half pack of cigarette. No, a half pack, a full pack of cigarette, a half tank of
That's
gas.
a damn good movie, too.
Yeah,
I haven't watched that one in a while. Aretha Franklin in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we digress.
Yeah. He was on a mission from God. He abruptly told the family to get out of the room. Then he grabbed the man by the lapels and pulled him out of the casket. He propped the body against the wall and commanded it, "Live! Live, damn it."
Damn.
When he released the man's body, the stiffened corpse promptly fell on the floor with a thud. That is where you and I would have quit, but most of us don't have the kind of faith that Wigglesworth had. Wigglesworth grabbed the lapels on the coat on the corpse and propped the body against the wall once more, and he shouted, "I told you once, I tell you again, live!"
Don't make a fool of me.
Again, the stiffened corpse fell to the floor with the same thud as it made the first time. Who knows what in creation that poor family and funeral home workers must have been thinking with all the noise coming from behind that closed door. A third time, Wigglesworth picked up the corpse, propped it against the wall. He pointed his finger at the body and demanded, "I've told you once. I've told you twice, but I shan't tell you again after this third time. Now live."
Sounds like my mother.
Suddenly, the man coughed, shook his head, wiped off his face, and walked out of that funeral home.
Damn.
The supernatural raising of the dead took place in Smith Wigglesworth ministry not once, not twice, but 14 times. Some say it was even more. Wigglesworth had the God of faith to command. He had the God kind of faith to command the dead and come back to life again. Have you ever seen someone raised from the dead? If your answer is no, may I ask, have you ever prayed for it? A lot of people have prayed for a lot of dead people.
I'll tell you, though, and you know, we go back to prayer and everything, but, you know, they did that study, details. I hate details. I always forget them. I believe it was in Colorado, something about people who had heart conditions or cancer. One of the see details. Yeah, so close. And they took the group and they divided it in two, and they had one half of the group is the placebo group. Yep. They didn't do anything for them. The other half they had
control group.
Yeah.
The other group was the placebo group.
No. Okay. That was the placebo group. Placebo group they do nothing for.
Yeah, that's called the control group. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a placebo. They would be the ones taking the placebos. If you were giving out drugs, you would be getting the placebos if you were in a control group. Got that?
But they didn't say they were giving out drugs. They did nothing for them, right?
Will you let me finish my story
Yes.
before you pick on me?
Because I'm about to make the point the other half was the one who got the placebo. But go ahead.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
Well, you will because you're an atheist. But the other half was prayed for.
Yeah.
They prayed for, it was prayed for from all different religions all over the world. And the half that was prayed for had better recovery rates than the other one.
Did the half that was prayed for know they were being prayed for?
No, that's why they have a placebo effect. So it's just like you give two pills.
Okay.
You
Yep.
give the pill to them, even though that's the control, they ain't getting shit. And then to give the other one the wonder drug. And the one with the wonder drug hopefully does better than the one. What now?
But the one that got the wonder drug of prayer didn't even know they got the drug. So
It doesn't matter because they all thought they were being prayed for.
Oh, they all thought they were being prayed
Yeah.
for.
They had to take part in the studies, so they had to know what they were doing. You just can't make people get into studies without the knowledge.
Okay, so
unless, of course, you're the government and to the black people back in the South, and then that's another story.
let me sure I have this straight. Totally ignoring that last point for the moment. So both of these groups thought they were being prayed for,
Yes.
and one group got a placebo and the other group got what?
Prayed for.
Okay. Just
Do you know what placebo is? Look that up in your funkin' Wagnall. You evidently, you're a little soft on placebo.
a placebo is a perceived treatment.
Exactly.
That's not real.
Exactly.
So they both got the prayer treatment, right? They
No.
both knew they were being prayed for.
They both thought they were being prayed for.
Okay.
One half of the
Oh,
group
and
got the
one
placebo was they didn't get any prayer. The other half of the group got prayed for.
Oh, so they both told they were both told
It's
they were
like
being
talking
prayed
to
for.
my wife.
No,
What
hang
the
on.
frickin' story is here?
I'm just trying to get it straight. So they both thought they were being prayed for,
You're not,
but only half
you're not
of them
coming out
were.
of the closet, are you?
No. No.
I'm just kidding with you. You know that.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So both groups thought they were being prayed for, but only
Yes.
one was actually prayed for.
Yes.
I see.
You got that.
Yeah.
It's like if you're taking a drug. Both groups thinks they're taking the
Gotcha.
wonder drug, but one of them takes a sugar pill and the other one gets the wonder drug.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yep.
It's clear and concise now.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I do love you, Lou. So we died at
It
87
wasn't
years.
clear at the beginning, but now I have it.
Well, yeah, in all fairness to you, I'm not the best communicator in the world.
Don't have to be fair to me at all.
I do. I am not the best communicator in the world.
So that's
That's what my
interesting.
wife tells me anyway.
Has that experiment been repeated?
It has been other things. I don't know all the details in it because I wasn't planning on bringing this. This is, I mean, my brain is like this I don't know what the heck you would call it, this random machine of useless facts that
It's an archive.
all stuff that I know
Yeah.
and seen and come across, but unfortunately, my brain doesn't retain
No.
details very much,
That's
which
fine.
is
I'm-
which is a big problem.
I
So,
understand completely.
I mean, names especially, I'll never get dates and stuff like that. I mean, I know stuff, but I don't know the
That's fine.
details.
Yeah, it's just now I'm interested.
It is. It was very interesting. Yeah. The what the hell were we talking about? I have no clue. Oh yeah, we're talking about power of prayer. I know that, like, for instance, when Jan was going through the cancer, right? They had only given her I think it was 10 to 15% chance of survival, and we went to a prayer mass, of course, and then we had tons of people praying for her. Right? Of course, she totally recovered.
Yeah. Thank God. Yeah.
I wonder where that comes from, knocking on wood.
I'll look that up.
Yeah, another thing we have to see what happens. We just,
I know.
that's the way we are. So, the power of prayer, power. Now, that could be power of suggestion, too, right?
No, that would
If
be.
you think you're going to get healed, then you heal.
But the group that thought they were going to get healed, but didn't, were subject to the same suggestion. They were
That's
being
true.
prayed for.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. Okay.
But now it brings me to if we take this experiment on face value.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, that's what you have to do. For,
yeah,
you know,
that's
for
what you have,
discussion
for the sake of
purposes.
discussion.
Yeah.
Sure. now you have to wonder what the actual quote unquote power of prayer is, and whether there's a connection outside our perception. And of course, the easy answer is God.
Yeah.
But, you know,
You hate that word, don't you?
no, it's fine. It's just
You see, it sticks in your craw, I can tell.
fine. Yeah.
Anyway, so what about it? So but okay, think of it on a non-godly basis, all right? Think of it as the power of positive thought,
Yeah.
and you can go there. It's basically the same thing.
Well, no, again, because it didn't work on the people who weren't prayed for. They
Right.
thought they were being prayed for, but they weren't.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's true. All right, so, all right,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that study kind of messes
So
everything up.
is there an actual thing that's radiated from this prayer?
You mean energy or something?
Yeah, I mean, both you and I subscribe. I mean, I know you're more religious than I am, but
Yeah, a little
we
bit.
both subscribe to greater consciousness type of thing.
Yeah, because that's what God is to me. It's got to
Yeah.
be this great power that we can't possibly understand.
Oh, yeah, okay. I want to pursue that, but I really don't.
You do not.
Yeah.
I'm not in the mood.
No, I don't want to pursue it. No, I didn't want to pursue it to argument, and I wanted to go back more definition of your terms.
Okay. Oh, no.
Yeah.
We get muddled down in that. Let me see if I can find this out for you.
Because I'm doing this podcast on the Gita, and its philosophy is that that we are all part of something bigger, and while we refer to it as God, there is no personified figure. It is that whole collection of us.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got something for you because
Yes.
you asked, and I will always find you something.
Knocking on wood is thought to come from the folklore of the ancient Indo-Europeans, or possibly people who predated them, who believed that trees were home to various spirits. Touching a tree would invoke the protection and blessing of the spirit within. That's the origin of knock on wood.
So we talking about the power. What was it?
The power of prayer. I mean,
No, go ahead. The knock on. What was it? Explain it again. My mind was a little bit off. I'm sorry.
thought to come from the folklore of ancient Indo-Europeans, or possibly people who predated them, who believed that trees were the home to various spirits, and touching a tree would invoke the protection and blessing of the spirit within.
Freaking tree huggers.
So, no, so when they were talking knock on wood, they would just hit
Did you
the
ever hug
tree.
a
They're
tree?
knocking on a tree. Yeah.
Ever hug a tree?
Have I hugged a tree?
Yeah.
I have not.
Try it sometime.
Hug a tree? Okay.
I've done it.
I
I've
will.
done this old tree. I hugged it.
How'd it go?
I got a rash. So here's
Attacked by a squirrel.
nuts.
That's the spirit within.
Nuts.
Exactly.
An example of the study of meditative prayer was the Bernardi study in the British Medical Journal in 2001. It reported that the praying of the rosary, which Jan did, by the way, reciting yoga mantras at a specific rates, baroflex, sensitivity increases significant cardiovascular
Yeah.
patients. The study in 2008 in Escalera dimensions of personality. It also helps your mental health, and self-reported frequency of prayer also increases your mental health. It goes back to
I believe in all that wholeheartedly. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But what we're talking about is people who thought they were being prayed for and either were or weren't, and the difference between the two.
Various studies have addressed the topic of third-party studies of prayer. Carefully monitored studies of prayer are relatively scarce, with 5 million spent worldwide on such research every year. A study from a 2006 STEP project found no significant difference between patients recovering from heart surgery whether the patients were prayed for or not. So this is from
Right.
2006. In and another one in 2000 looked at.
I think I got to ask if they knew they were being prayed for.
Yeah, I know. In 2000, looked at 274 patients in 23 studies and found that 13 studies showed significant positive results, and 9 studies showed no effect. 1 study showed negative effect. Must have been a Satan's praying for him.
Yeah.
I guess so. It depends on what you study. It's the interesting thing about it. I don't want to get too much deep in this because you can go into all kinds of little things.
But the compelling part about the study that you quoted was that both thought they were being prayed for, but only half were, and that half did significantly better. That's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, but we don't know if that was one. Well, it was one study that I know of. But
whether it was repeated.
Yeah, if it was repeatable, which is a whole different thing.
Right.
You know.
That would be fascinating. I would find that fascinating.
I
I wholly believe that people who pray for health and things like that probably do better. We know the power of the mind, right?
I told you about when Jan was like going through the cancer. She took up praying the rosary every night in bed, and I swear to this day, she still does it, by the way.
Yep.
When she's praying the rosary, if I close my eyes, all I see is white, and when she's done praying, it's dark again.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just telling you the way I see it. I mean, I'm not making this up. That's the way it is. And it's come to the point where I said, "You done with your rosaries?" And she'll say, "Yeah." And
you saw the lights go out.
so basically, that's it. So I don't know if it affects us, but that's. I'm not saying that. I mean, I have my own beliefs, but I'm not saying it's godly light or whatever. But it could be some type of, if you look at it more skeptically, you could say it's some type of brain activity that she causes this light. Because we're connected, because we're husband and wife and close proximity. So whatever. I mean, there's different.
Sure.
I mean, that's the problem. You can always come up with different theories and stuff. For instance, Joe Nickel. Joe Nickel he's like the big namesayer for everything, right? Mm-hmm. And I seen him on a show the other day, and he was saying this is what it is. But then they had a guy that rebutted him, and the rebuttal actually made a hell of a lot more sense than he did. His little theory said, well, it could be this. But the problem was he just said it. He didn't do any studies on it, for instance. So in order to be real science and everything, it has to be repeatable.
Yeah.
It absolutely has to be repeatable. And so he was showing the flaws of his argument, saying that, he did no studies and there's no repeatable evidence of that phenomena that he was talking about. It was similar to this stuff.
But we know how powerful the mind is and the mindset is. And
we don't know. No, we haven't a clue what the power of the mind is.
And there are 1,000 different ways to get your mindset right. Yeah, I mean, you and I are hockey players, and we talk about the ritual in the dressing room. If it gets screwed up, your mindset's all screwed up. You do it a certain way because that gets you in a way you can be more productive. And of course, the way you lace your skates has nothing to do with how you play. It's just that you believe it has something to do with the way you play. So in effect, it does, because your mind is powerful.
The interesting thing about it, this has got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but except you mentioned hockey. Mm-hmm. On the way in, they were talking about the Celtics and the Bruins.
Yeah.
And the difference between hockey and basketball. Yeah. And in basketball,
I heard some of that,
yeah, basketball, they have no guy that can come in and whip the team up, tell them cut this, whatever. But in a hockey,
that guy in the basketball dressing room has to be a star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to be like these guys. You heard this?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about,
yep.
and it's true. And any guy in the locker room of a hockey will talk like they do.
Yes.
After a game, when you lose a game, it's like, we played like shit. It's like and that can be anyone. It's nobody, the captains, nobody, leaders of the team. It's anyone, and that's the way hockey is. Hockey is a much more close knit group that are.
Plus, you can earn respect 100 different ways on a hockey team.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you are a hard worker, just in practice, if you're a hard worker, if you're the tough guy on the team, if you're a veteran, you've just been there for a long time, you earn respect. Doesn't work that way often in an NBA locker room.
I played hockey for years and years, and up until my older years, and I was the oldest guy in the league at that time, and I was not anywhere close to being the best guy on the team. I mean, not even close. I was probably on the low side, if not the worst guy on the team.
Right.
But of the forwards. But people respected me because when I went out there, I gave 125% every freaking time.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter what it cost me, I would do it. And they knew as long as I was doing whatever I could do, that was part of it. And that's what hockey players are. That's what they ask for you out of it.
Plus, they know at a certain age, if you're going out and playing hockey, you're dedicated to it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
your
that's
heart's in
another
it,
point.
your
But
mind's in it.
leaving age beside, just
There's some
on my
respect for
talent
that.
when I was even younger, and it was similar to that. Like, you know, I was never an all-star hockey player. I mean, I had my attributes.
Yeah.
But, no, so it's...
Yeah, hockey-
hockey is such a...
I played. I didn't play any basketball to any kind of level, but I played the other three major sports, and there is nothing like a hockey locker room. There's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, teammates become friends, brothers. It's a whole different dynamic in a hockey locker room.
Oh, it's totally different. I mean, to me anyways. Especially in a good team.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the interesting thing about hockey and any sports anyways is when you're good, even the crappy teams play better.
Yep.
Well, if they're in any kind of team, let's put it that way.
Sure.
You know, because they're like, oh, you're the best. We got to play up. So they always play up. This is the end of the
Generally
show.
true.
Huh?
It's generally true in football too.
Yeah.
You know, we saw the Patriots, the Super Bowl champions. Every team gets up for them to play the Super
Yeah,
Bowl
that's true.
champions.
That's why they can lose. That's, you know, well, Belichick always said every time, he says, you've got to play a guest game. You've got to play. It doesn't matter what their records are. You know, when he talks about another
you're
team,
gonna
they're
get-
always the best team in the league, right?
You're always going to get their best game.
Yeah.
That's-
They're the best
we saw that.
quarterback. They got the best receivers. They got, you know, everything. Anyways, we got to go. So
Yep.
we want to thank everyone from listening tonight and today or whatever the hell it is. And remember, good night and God bless, and keep your stick on the ice. From the Red Green Show.
From goalies to ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Deliver us, good Lord.